I was given a glass of Kool-Aid, and so were the other children. This Kool-Aid was spiked with LSD. It was horrible.
We are not professing to tell you the complete story of these activities. We are professing to tell you the complete story that we know. But these records that we've uncovered don't tell the story. They tell pieces of it.
You are nobody, 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 you are nobody.
That was beside my bed constantly, repeated 250,000 and 500,000 times.
After 27 days of this, they said that they were discouraged because he still had ties to his former life, in that he was asking to see his wife. They decided to give him more Page Russell shock treatments and put him to sleep for another 30 days.
They would give me as much as 40 pills a day. And I would ask the nurse, what is that? They would say it's a new drug and they only name it by a number. I was very, very strong, well-powered. So these drugs kind of desensitize me. They would lower my reactions. They would lower my resistance.
Well, there's a lot I could not remember after I got out of the Allen. When my family came, I was a zombie. I didn't even know who they were.
He never came out the same. He had a blank look in his eye. He didn't know who we were. He didn't know we were his daughters. He lost his job. We went into poverty after he came out.
He had said in his interview with the shrink that I was the apple of his eye. And after he came home, he started beating me not long after.
LSD was very horrifying, and they gave it to me for about 12 or 15 times. I remember them telling me that I was getting smaller and smaller, and I really felt myself getting smaller. And they were bringing me back in time, way back, At one point, I almost felt like I was just about to be born. Really, that far back in memory, and they were really probing, asking all kinds of questions, and I felt I didn't have any control. I had to answer. I didn't feel I had any control. I was completely, like they had complete control over me.
All were behind it. They all knew what they were doing, but they weren't doing it out of care or love. They were doing it out of military and political reasons.
They did when my father sold me into MK-ULTRA. He was aware on all levels of what it was about and exactly what it was for, what it would entail. And he would say, even way back then, he'd say things like, spies are made, not born. And so he knew that I would have to be made. And he'd been taught how to raise me in the project according to conditioning me with childhood themes and continuing abuse and taking me to certain places according to the instructions of the political people that were directing his actions.
My sexuality was heightened from a very, very early age, and I also developed what is known as dissociative identity disorder. It was formerly termed multiple personality disorder, but has since been redefined because it's not multiple personalities, but the shattering of a personality and a compartmentalization of memory, of trauma, too horrible to comprehend. Childhood sexual abuse was certainly too horrible to comprehend. There was no place for that in my mind.
El proyecto Monarca consiste en crear esclavos poniendo al cerebro al límite. Las torturas comienzan desde pequeños o a edades tempranas. Estas torturas consisten en abusos sexuales, privación del sueño, administración de drogas, largos periodos sin comida ni bebida, ser forzados a ver rituales de sacrificios, aislamiento en cajas o ataúdes e incluso ser forzados a cometer asesinatos, descargas eléctricas en el cerebro, entre muchas otras torturas.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Brittany. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Brittany.
Roman is a crazy boy who lives in me. And he says the things that I don't want to say. I think he was born out of rage. He was conceived in rage. He wants to be blamed. I don't want to blame him. I ask him to leave, but he can't.
So that's where I come in, and I keep your emotions, and I deal with your emotions over here. But when it comes time for business, I implement what you told me on the emotion side into handling it in a professional manner, because sometimes it's hard for you to
Matt Lauer and Al Roker. Will someone do the junior high harmony? It's like this. You gotta make it real awkward.
That's exactly how
you
have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies
exactly.
in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
Others in my audience have said to please ask you this question. Yeah. Why do you always grab your crotch?
Why do I grab my crotch?
Yeah, why? We think you got a thing with your crotch going on.
I think it happens subliminally. When I dance, if you're a dancer, you know, you're just interpreting the sounds and the accompaniment of the music. If there's a driving bass, you become the bass. If there's a cello, if there's a string, you become that. So you become the emotion of what that sound is, okay? So if I'm doing a move and I go bam, and I grab myself, it's the music that compels me to do it. It's not saying I'm getting ready to grab down there and it's not a great play. You don't think about it, it just happens. Sometime I'll look back at the footage and I'll go, did I do that?
Yeah.
So I'm slave to the rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think the
Yeah. So I'm slave to the rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay?
So glamorous. She's rich, she's luxurious, successful, and like Catherine Hudson, like I didn't have any money, I didn't have any influence, I didn't have anything. That was so it's a bit hard to go back there. I guess that like I guess that like, you know, I'm really strong as Katy Perry. Sometimes I'm not as strong as Catherine Hudson and like. But you know, people like talk about my hair, right? And they don't like it, or they wish that like it was longer. And like, I so badly want to be Catherine Hudson that I don't even want to look like Katy Perry anymore sometimes. And like, that is a little bit of why I cut my hair, is because I really want to be my authentic self, like 100%. And so it hurts, you know, when I don't feel like I can. My intentions, I always try and set the right intention every morning. But I'm human, and I'm living under this crazy virus. And I made that choice, but it's not always.
Yo, Andrew.
Hey, bro. All right, talk to us.
Bro, I don't give a f, bro. They held me down and they made me watch little kids get raped. I don't give a f anymore.
Where?
Bro, they fucking took me to the fucking woods, bro, and they fucking tied. Bohemian Grove is real. They fucking tied me down and they made me fucking watch, dog. I absolutely don't give a f anymore. They're fucking little kids. You know the higher elites, bro. You already know who they are, bro.
You know the path you're going down is dangerous, my friend. That's
I don't give a f. I don't give a f, bro. They raped me, right? I was 2 years old. They raped me. I have proof of that too. That's where it all started, bro.
The Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure, you know?
Costume contest, we do it every year. It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.